Oh, hello, June 2020. What have you got going on for us this month? Two retrogrades, one of which is Mercury, and the fact that it's also eclipse season. We have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. Yeah, I kind of agree, Aquarius, at this stage. I think the universe is just trolling us right now. But aside from that, Aquarius, what else has June 2020 got going on for you? Maybe some very, very, very interesting, passionate encounters could be happening for you. It's where, for some of you, there could be a very, very strange tension and passion between you and somebody else. Or for many of you, it could be this wonderful, wonderful, strange, passionate and creative tension bubbling up inside of you that absolutely needs to be expressed some way, somehow, and in some wonderful and hopefully very, very delightful fashion. So why is all of this going on, my love? Well, let's do what we always do. We're going to shuffle the cards, still with the quarantine nails. I know. This is before I can get to the nail appointment, which I actually have booked for next week. Finally, we'll do the cards, we'll shuffle them, and we'll wait for all the right ones to come along. And in the meantime, let's talk about these energies and see what the heck is going on. So, yes, we have more retrogrades. We've already got Jupiter, we've got Venus, we've got, Pluto and Saturn retrograding in Aquarius. And now this month we've got Neptune and also the dreaded Mercury. Yeah, it's sometimes not very easy to say, because we know that when Mercury retrogrades, things feel like you're on a bit of a stop, until you kind of get used to how to handle the energies. But we'll get through it, Aquarius. There's no reason why not. But where is this fascination coming from? This passion, this tension? Well, a lot of it is actually coming from the fact that Venus is squaring off against Mars this month. Venus in your 5th house, Gemini, and Mars, of course, being in your 2nd house. And for many of you, it could come out in two ways. The first way, let's just say about creativity before we get to the other stuff. About creativity, there's a real feeling here. It's like I am absolutely lit up with some idea. I am lit up with passion to create, to do something, to promote something, to push something. This has huge meaning for me, and I feel like I'm absolutely shining, and not in the Stephen King sense, but shining properly when I am doing this. So there's an activation. I must act upon these passions. I must push through with something. I must create something. And even for some of you, the conversation about even bringing children into the world could be coming up. For some of you, I know some of you are there saying, how do I click off this video? Click. I know, but for some of you that is happening, and it could be a conversation, as I said, that is at least on the table. But the other big thing that's happening with this energy is, apart from this nice successful card hopping out there, is this tension, but not a bad tension. It's an attraction between you and somebody else. Now, this applies to both the couples and the singles. Hopefully, for the couples, that attraction is within your relationship, but not necessarily. So I'm going to give you the heads up on this. You could finally be out of lockdown or have some kind of ability to move a bit freely and find yourself going into a coffee shop if they're open, or a store or somewhere, and locking eyes with somebody. And there's a weird moment, a wonderful moment, where the two of you instantly connect, where there is definitely a fire, a spark, an energy, and then a weird feeling, especially for the couples, of saying, this is nuts. What am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I feeling this? And there could be some weird complication to it, especially if you're in a relationship. But even if you're single, there's a feeling of, I can't act upon this. Maybe the other person, you don't know them well. You just know them from going into the store. Or you might know that they're in a relationship, or that there's something anyway that's going on there that's like, what am I doing? Why do I feel so compelled to speak to this person? Oh my God, I feel like a teenager. I'm speaking to this person and my face is growing redder and redder. I'm embarrassed, I'm attracted. You know that flush of feeling when there is that real attraction to somebody? And my sense is the first reaction you'll also get then with that is, this is nuts. Because it's squaring off against, Venus squaring off against your second house, which is where you might find it a bit difficult to speak up, to kind of ask somebody on a date, especially difficult if you're already in a relationship, but there's a feeling of, you know, I can't speak up, I can't say anything. And usually as an Aquarius, now, strange with Aquarius because you flip from one thing to the other. I know Aquarius can be extremely shy under situations like this, but I also know that when the switch goes off and you say, no, I like this, you will go straight in. But this is just that kind of third element where you're kind of caught between shyness and wanting to speak up, and then it's awkward. It's awkward. That's all I can say. But it's very pleasant because even if it is, again, say for the couples, even if it is somebody that you meet in a store and there's that attraction and you walk out the door with your groceries and you're like, what the hell was that all about? I'm going back to my partner. What am I thinking? What it does is it seems to stoke that fire in you. So what this connection with this person might have done for your relationship is they've lit you up and you bring that home. You know, you bring that home to your partner. But for the singles, it's that thing. Somebody's inspiring you. Somebody's lighting you up. Even for some of you, it's like somebody could be a source, like being your muse to create something. I feel it. There's an obsession. There's a connection. There's a, what is it every time I'm in the room with this person, or every time it's cringe. And I'm not telling you the situation is cringe. I'm feeling that from you. It's like, I am not 14 years old anymore. What is this? You know, but it's very sweet, especially if that's something that you feel, as the cards all start tumbling out, is something that you want in your life right now. Let's get these cards going on there. Okay. That card coming out, right. We've two more. The Sun, very, very nice. And somebody coming towards you with a proposal of heart flutter energy. That's the vibe. That's what I feel. So it could even, let's just bring it back, because some of you are saying, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. There is definitely something or someone or a creative idea or a spark. It is when lightning meets lightning and something gets lit. And it is pushing you forward. It is inspiring you. It's bringing you happiness. And it's definitely bringing you a big smile, even as you go to sleep at night and you put your lovely little Aquarius head on the pillow and you're still thinking of that nice spark. A spark that lights you up. So that's very nice. Now there's lots of other things going on. Let's focus on the big energy, as we actually have all the cards right now. But before we get down to them, let's talk about this eclipse business that's happening, Aquarius. So for you, excuse me, on June 5th, we have the big lunar eclipse happening in Sagittarius in your 11th house. A few meanings going on here. There's a feeling here, Aquarius, of I came to do something and I've done it, and I'm very satisfied with what I've done. I've put a lot of energy and effort and there was a lot of focus and detail in it, but I've done it, and now it's decompression. Now I don't have to worry about that. And a lot of it could be to do with working within a group of people, like a team in work, maybe pressure that you had to do something within your community, pressure that you had in some way to perform to a large group of people. Now that could be within family, your own immediate friends, performing, like keeping up appearances to your neighbors or anything like that, or even on a much bigger scale. You could be doing something online for the work that you do or so on like that. But there's a feeling of this is closing off. This is coming to an end, and I'm growing more distant from what I feel is the need to perform in some way to please other people. Now, even as I'm saying that, there's not a negative connected to this, Aquarius. It's almost like I went in, and now watch me as I'm kind of pulling my energy back. I'm satisfied with what I did, and maybe in some cases with the full moon in the 11th house, I had an element of success with something that I've done. I've achieved it. As I said a moment ago, I came to do something, I did it, and I'm very, very happy with the results. And now I'm just going to find myself taking a few steps back and not letting that be a thing that motivates me anymore. Because this is another thing that's changing with the lunar eclipse. The dreams, the visions, the ideas of what you want to experience in your future, and working towards that. There's a feeling of, I am not going to let that be like the carrot that's held in front of the donkey to get it moving. Instead, I'm going to just pull back a little bit and say, ask firstly, is this the right dream? Is this the right vision? Is this the right magic I want to bring in my life? And am I doing all this just to please other people? So there's a big question going on here. And then afterwards, you can kind of pull away from that and in some way reorganize and reshift your focus towards something different, towards a different experience for your future, in some way that's not so hard work, or doesn't take such a toll on you, doesn't have such pressure on you to perform. I also feel that, or to keep up appearances. I am stepping away from that, and I'm developing a healthier, less restrictive vision. I even have an image here, Aquarius, excuse me, that some of you might be, now bear with me because this might not be for everybody, this feeling of, I am leaving behind this need for a certain way of predicting my future, and I'm moving into something else. So say if you had been very focused on astrology, now you're shifting more towards divination or tarot, or vice versa. Or if that's not your thing at all, it's like I used to watch for signs, symbols and omens in a certain way. I need to pull it back and rediscover how I read the signs, symbols and omens in order to predict trends better, to predict the future better. Again, not necessarily involved with tarot, divination, so even with the work that you're doing, the tasks that you have in your life, it's like I'm redefining the signs, symbols and omens so that I'm able to read situations better in my future. I'm able to read people better, because I feel for many of you with the lunar eclipse in the 11th house, some of you might be kind of pulling back and looking from a distance at certain connections you have with people and saying, you know, now that I pull back, I sense an element of toxicity that I may never have noticed before. So what I want to do is pull back from that and then learn again how to read people, how to read the signs, symbols and omens of what it is to get connected to a healthy person, a healthy friendship, a healthy relationship, a healthy working relationship. So again, that might apply to actually a lot of you now that I'm kind of feeling it, going back to learn how to read the signs of what is a healthy direction for you in your future, and unhooking yourself. Again, last month we talked about hooks, but unhooking yourself from what seems to have been an unhealthy connection to an outcome, or an unhealthy connection to a friendship that probably is long overdue, the chop, or an unhealthy connection to a vision you had. So there is definitely a total review and a revampifying of being able to read a situation better and not being under the stress that you have been because you felt you didn't have the right focus on the right signs of how to read a person. Now again, you have to bear with me, Aquarius, because I'm reading these ahead of time, of course, and I'm doing my best to find the right explanation for what I'm feeling. But for me, that's a big, that's a big thing and a big theme. I sense a lot of you really waking up to a connection that you have with somebody, a friend, or some connection within a social scene or a social group, maybe an online group, and suddenly saying, this shit, I never noticed how toxic it was. I never noticed how something could present itself, or someone could present themselves in such a bright way. But yet when I kind of don't look for a second and I read the energies beneath, it's pure toxic. There's a feeling of being bluffed, of being fooled, and never, ever, ever again wanting that to happen. Now again, Aquarius, I don't necessarily feel like, oh, somebody fooled you and pulled the rug. It doesn't have to be like a huge moment. For me, it's more like like a subtle thing. You're observing, you're seeing, you're watching. You're finally paying attention to the toxicity of a connection that you have with somebody. And then again, as I said previously, kicking yourself because you were allowing yourself to be led to believe that they were something that they weren't. Turns out that maybe there was a level of unhealthiness there. So that's that big thing. Now again, new moon happening this month, June 21st, solar eclipse in Cancer in your 6th house. And this ties in with what I said a moment ago too. This 6th house is very often where we observe, where we sit back and pay attention to the details, where we have that moment of saying, let me have a good strong look at this here. Let me have a look at this situation. Let me have a look at this person. Let me examine this in greater detail. And by doing that, you're doing it with one hand with a great big scissors, saying, I'm ready to chop anything, any small thing that doesn't measure up to my standards. Chop, chop, chop. So this is what needs to be brought in here. The new moon in Cancer, more of that needed. Not everyone deserves your friendship. Not everybody deserves for you to be at the other end of the phone all the time, pouring you their problems. Not everybody deserves the effort that you give to a situation. Not everybody deserves that. Not everybody deserves your ability to heal them. Now this is, bear with me as I say this, a lot of people in the world, a lot of people in our own environment certainly need healing. But there might be one moment this month where you say, I have to be more discerning and more astute, intuitive about who gets my good advice and who gets my healing and who gets my good wisdom. Because I heard a great phrase, they're called, people that do this are called ask holes. Ask hole. They ask you advice all the time, or they ask you to help them all the time. They ask for your time, your energy, your effort, your healing. You give it freely, and then they do the opposite. So that's why we call them ask holes. They ask for something and then, you can fill in the rest. You get the idea. So you're becoming certainly more intuitive and discerning about that. Now there's lots and lots of other stuff, Aquarius going on, but they're the big themes. Big energies, big themes. So without any further ado, let's get over to your big grand, ta-da, your overview for this weird month. Yeah, okay. And you're saying what? And is it, like, this month is any different to the rest of them? No, it's not. It's just getting weirder. But that is 2020, the troll year of the century, I think. But we're getting through it. We're dealing with it. It's fine. So your first card, success. Look at this guy riding into town on his pony, riding in and saying, look, peasants, pay attention to me. I deserve the laurel leaves. I deserve the success. I've worked hard. I've fought hard. I've delivered. the goods. I have made something happen and I'm feeling good about that. And this is the energy of a lot of people celebrating you. Again, with the full moon in the 11th house, even though it's a lunar eclipse, there could be something that happens this month if you have been really working on something, a project, working on something with friends, a team in work or on social media or in your community in general. Doing something like that where there is a finish line and somebody gets to decide whether you've won or not. It feels like you got to win. You're the winner. You're the winner, baby. And there's you parading through town. So, excuse me, I feel a level of applause. Congratulations. There's a kind of handshake, maybe from a social distance, but there is a handshake. There is something good happening. Again, even for many of you, success in the workplace. Success because you pushed something across the line. Success because you really gave it 100%. And you opened it up. You remember last month we were talking about don't stranglehold it, just open it up and let the universe step in and take it from here. Well, I think those of you who did follow the advice from last month are seeing the reward from that. Because you released your vice grip of only one outcome. And you said, right, I'm trusting you. And there is the success. Very, very nice. And other things too. The other thing this could be representing is you being, now bear with me as I say this, a bit kind of, even if you're not doing it deliberately, kind of like strutting your stuff. Cock of the walk and getting noticed by other people, and especially potential lovers, people who are attracted to you. So singles, watch out if you don't want to be getting involved in any of that kind of mess, just have a plan about that, because somebody could be catching your eye and getting all starry-eyed when they see you, and you feeling flattered, of course, but a bit this is awkward. But the singles, it's the same thing. It's like you're attracting somebody's attention because you're giving off this kind of vibe, like cock of the walk vibe, not in an arrogant way, but in a kind of, I'm really it. I am really it. And everybody is feeding off that energy and saying, wow, look at Aquarius. They are really it. And so there is some attraction. There's definitely attraction, Aquarius. And even if love is not the thing you're interested in, if you're pushing a project, if you're dealing with clients, there's a feeling of attraction because people are seeing that you know what you're doing. You seem to have success written all over you. And people are picking up on that. You little golden successful thing, But again, we talked about this right at the beginning. There seems to be some difficulty or challenge about speaking clearly. It's almost like stuttering. Now, no offense, I don't mean to say that. I know some people kind of have that as a medical condition. I don't mean that. It's more like unable to get the words out, unable to say something, even though you so desperately want to say something. I seriously need to speak to somebody about something. Excuse me, sorry, Aquarius. I seriously need to voice my opinion on something, but I'm blocked. But you won't be blocked for long. It will change, especially when Mars moves into Aries on June 27th. That will change things. You'll definitely have more freedom to talk. So it's kind of funny, Aquarius, because apart from this thing of, on a negative side, feeling very blocked, like, better hold my tongue, can't say something here, gonna just skirt around the surface, gonna hope that somebody else notices and picks up the vibe that I'm, can't say it, but I'll kind of put the vibe out that I'm feeling a certain way, and I'm hoping that they'll pick up on it. So there's some of that. But on the other case, if it's an attraction, and I do feel it's like a lightning strong attraction between you and somebody else, and even if it is only a creative attraction, like somebody becomes a huge source of inspiration to you, it's just this feeling of, I can't tell them, I can't speak to them, I can't talk to them, I can't get the words out, I can't tell them how I feel. And yet, as weird as that may be, Aquarius, this kind of, I can't say anything, connection, it might not be able to be expressed at the beginning, but it is definitely felt. This is passion that has to be buried. This is passion that goes deep inside of you, that changes your world. Aquarius, I mean, there is a lot of passion. There's a lot of heat. There is a lot of internal heat. There is a lot of, you know, feeling very lit up by something or somebody. And it is changing your world. It is taking you out, like the goddess Inanna here, taking you out of maybe a dull, boring, heavy, going nowhere situation, which a lot of us have been feeling, and into, you know, sayonara bitch, looking over my shoulder. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm moving really towards this deep passion. You're being changed by a deep, deep, lit up passion this month, Aquarius. And even, as I said at the beginning of the reading, for many of you, it could be a huge desire. Not just sensual, sexual desire, but also the desire to create. And this is why this card sometimes represents children. Again, it could be a conversation you could be having with your partner about children. Or maybe some of you might hear news this month of a child. And if that is you, then I wish you every congratulations. May you be blessed with health, happiness, and prosperity, should I say so. Very, very nice. So we're moving towards mid-month here. This is a Gemini card, and this is the sun. And of course, the sun does move in to, well, it's in Gemini. It does move out of Gemini, on June 20th at the summer solstice. So it's in Gemini. So something is happening because Gemini is a fellow air sign. Something is ending. And again, like this card here suggests, it's like a dullness. There's an end to the stress. There's an end to the worry. Something has been concluded and you seem to be freer. I'll say this for some of you, cross-watchers, please don't panic. But for some of you, it seems like the most successful thing that some of you could do is to close the door on one relationship to make room for something new on the horizon. This is unusual, Aquarius, unusual, because somebody's coming your way that's showing you how to love again, or to be passionate again, or to be lit up again. Somebody's hot wiring you. And again, it's their energy sparking you to feel like you need more time to be free and independent, to invite more of that into your life. So we're going to have to start separating here the different people, because some of you are in very healthy, happy relationships. But just for a moment, for those of you who are at that junction, it definitely seems like what Gemini season is doing is it's lighting you up by connecting you with something or somebody that just gives you life. And it seems the healthiest thing and the healthiest response is for you to come out of that unhealthy relationship, to make yourself freer and more independent, to be able to explore some new connections on a much deeper level. Aquarius, I'm just sensing this for some of you. I'll come back to the rest of you, but for whoever this relates to, there's a feeling of, I haven't felt this passionate for a long time. Passion has been reawakened. The depths of my soul have been reawakened because I've been so moved by somebody or something. And I need space to bring more of that into my life. So we are definitely seeing some Aquarians this month chopping out certain relationships who've definitely run their course. And It could be friendships also, because we have the lunar eclipse in the 11th house of friendships. But there is certainly some connection where somebody once gave you life, they lit you up, and now they don't. But it seems you went through a long period of this, like, you know, like somebody had taken the passion batteries out of you. And now in comes this person or situation that just gets you all going again, like the Duracell bunny. And you're like, give me space, give me space. This is my direction. This is where I need to be. Let me be alone so I can bring more of this in. Okay? For the couples, there is also a feeling here of let's end some passionlessness, and let's start healing that, and let's start encouraging that with more healing words. But the strange feeling here, Aquarius, is that you're doing it almost at the first like an experiment, from a safe emotional distance. Let's try this on for size and see, does it work? So I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll try this, I'll say that, I'll light something up here and light something up there. And I will observe and read the new signs. You remember learning how to read the situation differently. I will observe whether this works or not, because I feel all of you now are going through this sweeping change of having your passions lit. Yeah, well, why not, Aquarius? Why not? So we're moving towards the end of the month. Again, something changes here. This is a Mercury in Cancer card. Cancer representing your 6th house of good judgment, discernment, being able to master something skillfully and handle it very, very tactfully and delicately and beautifully. A communication. And there's just this thing towards the end of the month. Let me see, I'm just looking down here when that might be. Maybe around, say from the 21st onwards at least. There's a feeling here of, I'm finding it so difficult to communicate my passions and my feelings to some situation, to some group of people, or to somebody that I love, or to somebody that I'm very, very lit up by. I'm finding it very, very hard to make this flow. I'm thinking too much about it. I'm trying to make it perfect. And every time it falls short, where, you know, when you have those conversations in your mind, when you script something in advance, well, what if I said this? What if I did that? What if I handled it this way? What if I approached it that way? What if I managed it that way? Blah, 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 blah. You're saying either way I strategically look at this, I end up somehow looking like a fool. I feel embarrassed to say something. I feel embarrassed to communicate something. And it's the strangest thing, Aquarius, because you are not somebody who's usually backward about coming forward, unless it's something that requires you to kind of expose a feeling that once it's said, you can't take it back. Something that you don't want other people to criticize. It's almost like, this is so delicate, this means so much to me, this is where my heart is at. If I don't convey this right, communicate this in a right way, I'll end up looking like a fool. Aquarius, that's just not fair. That's not fair for you to think like that. You're not going to be a fool. You've the new moon in Cancer in the 6th house. Sure, it's a good idea to prepare in advance. Maybe if you have to speak to somebody, it's a good move to think about what you're going to do, have a program, have a plan, have a kind of little script made out. They're good moves. But at the same time, remember, the 6th house is discernment. You can organize as much as you want, but you still need a good judgment to know when to act, to know when to do something right, to know that it's not all about thinking it over and over and over in my head, but a good level of judgment and balance and discernment would be to act upon something without feeling like you're a fool. So don't be too hard on yourself, Aquarius. Not willing to express myself or share something that I feel deeply for fear of being criticized, for fear of looking like a fool or having egg on my face. And again, Aquarius, this is different. This is not talking to co-workers, bosses, or well, maybe co-workers, actually, if you have a bit of difficulty with them. This is not about something that you would just usually charge in with. This is a delicate matter. This is definitely a delicate matter. And there's a feeling of handle this right or else I will unravel something delicate. Stop giving yourself such a hard time over it, Aquarius. In all, Aquarius, you're the sign that represents authenticity. Be authentic in your moods, be authentic in your emotions, be authentic in your heart, be authentic in your feelings, and be authentic in how you communicate that. And if somebody doesn't receive that well, then they're not a person who understands authenticity. So they're not a person that you're wasting your time on. So don't be giving yourself this hard, judging yourself too hard, Aquarius. Just get the feeling, if you express yourself sincerely and connect sincerely, as only you really know how to do, then how could they not love that? And again, if they don't, there's something wrong with them, not you. Simple as that. But we're coming towards the end of the month. We're still dealing with these fears, Aquarius. You remember last month we got this card. You got to overcome these fears. This is a Scorpio card, and Scorpio for you is your 10th house, work. So there's still stuff being tidied up from last month relating to your work. I think they'll come to an end. There's healing. There's something nice. There's actually something very pleasant, I feel, happening in a work situation or a career move or something that you're doing in that whole arena. If you can just get over your fear, it seems, of being able to move in the direction that you deem to be the healthiest direction or the most sincere direction. Why is it, Aquarius, that you are being challenged? I wonder, is it because Saturn is retrograding in Aquarius? It's almost like you're being super challenged to face certain demons about being your true, authentic self, which again is who you represent. You represent authenticity. And loving that and aspiring constantly to be more of it. And yet we're finding a situation related to work or your career where it's like, I can't seem to find the right words without either losing my shit, losing my temper. I can't find the right way to deal with this. But I do feel healing is coming. It's like, be sweet, be sincere. Look at the two of these are kids. They're at their most honest, and they're handing and sharing a cup of love to each other. Maybe for some of you it's a co-worker that you're finding great difficulty with, and that could potentially start getting resolved at the end of the month if you can get over the fear of maybe having a real chat with them, a real honest chat, appeal to the kinder side to them. Because even though we say people are toxic, yeah, they are, but they have toxic behaviors. But not many people are 100% toxic. Most people have a side to them that will hear you and be willing to listen to a sincere and genuine conversation, so there's a lot going on here, Aquarius, a lot going on. But what I like most is this thing about being lit up by passion. But my love, we're going to have to leave it at that this month. Now you know by now where to come to get into all the real details of everything that we didn't talk about here. You want to know more about your relationship. How's that working out with the passionate moments here getting lit up? We'll focus on that. Singles, Hello, you are definitely being lit up here, but with a more discerning and critical eye. We'll focus on that in the deep read. We're going to focus on your career, your money. We're going to focus on home, family, friends, and everything, of course, that we don't talk about here in the YouTube reading. We're going to give it all the deep focus on the deep read in Vimeo. How do you get there? Well, you know by now, Aquarius. Down there below in the description box. I always stumble over that word. I don't know why. Too many the description box. Down there, you'll see a link, the deep read. Click into it. Come on over, my love. I'll meet you over there. We'll roll up our sleeves and we'll really give it a huge level of focus and find out what's going on. Is there more magic opening up for you this month? Seeing as you're the one being lit up by passion and magic this month. So, my love, see you at the deep read. But if we're going to leave it at that, then as always, my gorgeous, I'm going to leave you with all my love and a great, great, great big kiss from me to you. Mwah. Until next month, my beauty. Bye.